So welcome to our mini class here on the EBAI alpha inhibitor, which is the erection boosting alpha inhibitor. So this is a mini class on the biochemicals that either make or break your erections. So this is really important. You know, every guy is going to actually benefit from this particular one because what I have found is that most guys have somewhat of this issue, and it may actually be your core primary alpha inhibitor. So if you haven't taken the Xander Holt assessment, I highly recommend you do that because it will tell you which one of the 6 core alpha inhibitors are your primary alpha inhibitor. Okay, it's not that that's the only one. It's rarely only one. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen that. It's an ecosystem, right? All these things are working together. But so there's all kinds of things that could put you in there. But say, for instance, like the simple ones, like if you got testosterone issues, more than likely you got some EBAI alpha inhibitors going on. If you've got a long refractory period, more than likely this is your culprit right here, one of the main ones. So it's EBAI. I'm sorry, it's down here on the bottom. Okay, and it's also really important in regards to morning wood, which we're going to talk about in our next class. Okay. So let's start in here with some of the basics. I want to start in with what the biggest misconception that I see with guys when it comes to boosting erections and when it comes to biochemicals in general is they get this idea that it's testosterone, right? Testosterone is the issue. If they just get their testosterone fixed, they're going to be fine. But the problem with that is that a lot of these guys, what they end up doing is going on TRT, which I'm going to talk for in a second. That's testosterone replacement therapy. And I hear this all the time. I went on TRT. It didn't affect my erections at all. They didn't get any better. Or some guys will say, maybe it got a little better. And some guys, they got significantly better, but those are the minority, right? Testosterone is an important, really important part. You got to have it there, right? But it's just one little piece, So I think what I'll do here is let's talk about TRT. Testosterone, when you take testosterone, like I said, I see this all the time. Guys think it's going to improve their erections. It is important because, I mean, once again, they're produced here in the testicles primarily, although some testosterone is also produced in your adrenal gland. Most of it is here in the testicles. And the problem is with testosterone replacement therapy, even bioidentical testosterone replacement therapy, is that is the end product that they are injecting into your body. So it has to go through all these other steps. Pituitary gland releases LH and LSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone, which goes into the Leydig cells of the testicles, which produces testosterone. That's the way it should work, right? But when you bypass that by taking testosterone replacement therapy through injections or creams or pellets, you're getting this end product. So the body has all kinds of feedback mechanisms in it, so it doesn't overproduce things. The body wants to be in balance, homeostasis. So when it sees all this extra testosterone in there, it shuts this stuff down, right? And the testicles stop making testosterone. So for those who have been on TRT for a while, their testicles start to shrink and actually can become mushy. And that can be a very difficult thing to come back from. Okay, you can, depending on how long you've been on it, but it's a hard road. It's really difficult because you've bypassed your body's ability to do that for a long time. And, you know, it's a use it or lose it principle, right? So the fact the testicles shrink and become mushy because the body's trying to reabsorb them because it doesn't need the testosterone anymore. There's plenty of testosterone in your system. So then you become dependent on that system. In fact, during COVID, there was a problem where guys couldn't get access to their testosterone, right? The supply chain got interrupted, which could happen again. So your whole manhood now becomes dependent upon the pharmaceutical industry's delivery of, artificially induced testosterone for you. So really bad, man, really, really bad. But you can totally do this naturally, right? Get this naturally, because once again, if not, this creates a whole other problem now that you're going to have to deal with. With the same concept here, this is another big mistake I see guys make, is, there is a balance between testosterone and estrogen. So some guys get it in their mind that they just want to get that estrogen as low as possible. So they do all these things to lower their estrogen levels. And the problem with that is you don't want too much estrogen. And be honest, most guys do tend to be a little high in estrogen, but you do need some of it. And what can happen, because it has to be a balance. And if you go too low on your estrogen, well, then your sex drive just tanks. Okay, so you need it. It's once again, it comes back to this looking at things in isolation, right? Instead of the ecosystem. That's the problem, right? The whole nature is based on an ecosystem. Your erections are based on an ecosystem. You can't just focus in on one thing, which is the problem, I think, big time with the medical community. Artificial testosterone, ED drugs, they're focusing on one thing. We'll get into what ED drugs do here in a second. But it's impacting one aspect, artificially impacting it on one aspect of that ecosystem. And there's always consequences to that, because the nature's always going to try to balance things out. What you need to do is address the reasons why you've got the low testosterone in the first place. Get to the source of the issue holistically using the impact point matrix. Get to that holistically so you don't have to take TRT. Because here's the thing, guys. This is, I'm passionate about this because it's so frustrating to me, and it's scary to me. This is scary to me because testosterone replacement therapy is becoming normalized. It's becoming normal. ED drugs are becoming normal. And, some of you older guys like me, you can remember a time when none of that stuff was around. But your kids and your grandkids, they're going to grow up in a world where this is normal. And what's going to happen is, and this is already happening, I have guys on TRT in their 20s. I have guys on ED drugs in their teens. It's ridiculous, destroying their ecosystem at such an early age. That goes on too long. Humanity is not even going to remember what it's like to function normally anymore. So it's not just ourselves we owe this to learn how to do this and take responsibility and address the source, address the ecosystem. But we owe it to our children and our grandchildren, right? Because if we don't learn it and teach them, they're going to fall into this trap. Because I tell you right now, you go to your doctor, you tell them you got ED or you got testosterone replacement, they're going to put you on ED or testosterone, low testosterone. They find out they're going to put you on TRT and they're going to put you on ED drugs. That is what's become normal, and it's really scary. Okay, so let's talk about the gut for a second, because the gut is so important when it comes to these erection biochemicals, especially when it comes to testosterone. Hey man, I hope you got a ton out of this segment of the EBAI Erection Biochemicals Alpha Inhibitor video series, where we are diving deep into overcoming this insidious alpha inhibitor that is blocking our birthright of having natural, long-lasting, stage 4, rock-hard erections. If you'd like to get free access to the entire EBAI Erection Biochemicals Alpha Inhibitor video series, make sure you click the link in the description of this video to register for free access to all of these life-changing videos in this series, along with some other surprise bonuses. Also, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and turn on the notifications bell so you get all of the future value-packed videos just like this that I will be releasing for you to help you be the best version of yourself and have natural, stage 4, rock-solid performance. I will see you tomorrow in the next EBAI Erection Biochemicals Alpha Inhibitor video.